Thank you, Ismael. The neo-imperialism and the U.S. economy aren't the only points of interest here at the Left Forum 2006 in the Cooper Union. There's also the media's role in the movement, and with that report and highlights of that workshop is Taleigh Smith. Taleigh?
Taleigh Smith March here at the Left Forum in New York City, and I'm with Mark Setten from England, working with Al Jazeera. Now, certainly the majority of Americans have even more access than the rest of the world to the internet, which is full of alternative media. Al Jazeera obviously has been a frequented website as well. Is this separately affiliated? Is it the same website? Will it be offering, what kind of services are shared?
Just to say, the internet is a vital part of the Al Jazeera package. There's already an Arabic Al Jazeera website, as you know, and that's translated into English. This new channel, Al Jazeera International, will have its own website.
Now, is the role that you're hoping to have internationally similar to what Telesur is launching in terms of a southern network? Also, I've been told, news of the people, the half that never get represented in the news, in terms of their interests.
I don't know. I haven't been in America long enough, and I've never even been to South America to tell you anything about Telesur. You'd have to ask them. But I also know that Al Jazeera International are going to have at least 2 or 3 bureaus in South America, half a dozen in Africa, doing the exact opposite of all of the other networks, who tend to focus very much on Europe, America, the Middle East, for obvious reasons, but forget about the rest of the developing world. So, we will have not only a relationship with the Al Jazeera Arabic channel with Telesur, but Al Jazeera International. We will have bureau in South America reporting what is happening in Venezuela, in Argentina, in Brazil, and other countries there.
So I'm just wondering if you would make a brief statement about the role of the media, how we can take it back, how we can communicate down, the venues that do exist.
It's not really ours. The airwaves are ours, and we can take those back, and we can take back some of the truth, but I don't know that we can take back the media. I think that there are 2 things going on here. The first is that mainstream media lie through their teeth. That's obvious from what's happened in Iraq and so on. And we have to combat that. But then there's another thing that is going on, which is where we are almost using that fact as an excuse for the things that we haven't been able to do, which is mobilize and organize enough people to actually make the crucial differences where we could do. And I think that it's at those moments that we have to kind of be self-critical. The media is never going to be our friend. So long as it's in private interest, the media is never going to be our friend.
Do you feel like there is a politic of that in the newer generation, perhaps the generation that does understand more of what the technological revolution is?
I think there is, and I also think that because the media has degraded so badly, and because the way that they've done things has become so blatant and so very right-wing, that there's an older generation that is disappointed by the media in a way that a younger generation isn't, because it never expected so much from the media anyway, and it doesn't really rely on the media for its information, or the mainstream media for its information. So I also think that generationally, not only has the technology changed, but the expectations of what the mainstream media can do has changed too.
There is something to that, and I'm now going to confess just confusion as a foreigner to some of the slogans that I hear. I'm not entirely sure what they mean. So, support the troops, oppose the war. I know where people are coming from there in terms of who's fighting and so on, but I struggle with it. Or one banner that I saw at a demonstration was that peace is the American way, which would be used to the American Indians and to the Nicaraguans and a whole lot of other people. I suppose in all of those.
So I'm here with Jody Kolodzey from the National Writers Union. We've been talking a lot today about media, independent, corporate, and otherwise. And as a writer, Jody has a lot to talk about. Now, as we hear about the experience of writers, it parallels the experience of many professions and occupations that have defined different sectors of the United States. Certainly, our farm worker, for example, are being replaced by migrant labor from Central America who have lost their land there. Our telecommunications work is in India and the Philippines, places that have been colonized under our corporate empire, and so it's not just textile jobs in the United States that are being lost to globalization. There's a globalization of all kinds of professions. So the writers have been forced into this as well.
Well, I think what's new about it is an identification with working class people.
Mm-hmm.
That journalists previously considered themselves more of a profession and consequently having more in common with doctors, lawyers, more in common with people that were, to utilize somewhat Marxist rhetoric, the bosses.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're seeing that they have more in common with the migrant workers, more in common with working class people generally, which is new.
And something that probably we could say isn't going to be a bad thing in terms of the subjective portrayal in the media that comes out of that identification, right?
That's true. I mean, a taste of poverty is always good. But even among those professions, you're seeing doctors unionizing. And that's new. Grad students are unionizing. The parent union of the National Writers Union is the UAW, which is not just a union of auto workers. And of course, there aren't a lot of auto workers here either.
Right.
But the grad students at NYU and at various other places, hospital workers, nurses, are all organized under the United Auto Workers. And so seeing solidarity with people in different professions is a good thing. I mean, there has been a sort of smugness attributed to the press, and I haven't really seen that as a problem, but I can understand where it's coming from.